Hello, Ninglings. I want to talk about being alone just in general because it's something that I have experience with, but I think that I've talked about it before in a video, but I'm actually not that sure, and that, I guess, comes with having videos up every week for a year, and it's been a year in a week from now. I can't fathom that. No, doesn't compute in this brain. Ugh. Being alone is not a bad thing at all, and I want to get that straight right from the go to the get. Go. People tend to look down upon the people that are alone a lot, especially in high school. We see this the most, where for some reason it's the cool thing to do, and people brag about it a lot for just hanging out with people, which I don't really understand. I also don't really understand the concept of hanging out with people because I've never done it. And that is an example of a joke that I make on a daily basis, and it makes a lot of people feel very uncomfortable, which makes me laugh a lot. I think the main reason I find myself being alone a lot is because going to school every weekday for a long period of time, being surrounded by a bunch of people that I don't necessarily want to be around, is really degenerating. A lot of people at school just think I sit on my bed and do nothing all day, and I just lead them to believe that and let them believe that because it's a lot easier than trying to explain YouTube and the videos that I do and the music stuff and just everything. And it's a lot easier just to have people think that you're completely lazy. The main problem that I see is whenever I go out in public and I'm alone doing stuff that most people usually do with other people, a lot of people tend to look down on you, and if somebody you know sees you, they will mention it to you later in a conversation that you don't want to have, and it's just really awkward, and I don't know why it's a thing that you can't go out in public and be alone and do stuff. I went to go see a movie a couple months ago alone because I wanted to see the movie, and I wondered if that was okay thing to do to go to the movies alone, and people told me it was, but those were internet people, and then when I went there I was like, okay, this is good. I'm just gonna sit here and watch a movie all by myself, and it's gonna be great. But then I walk into the theater, and then apparently someone I knew was there, and her little brother came up next to me, and I turn, and I didn't even see him coming up next to me, and I just turn and I see his face. I was like, whoa, what are you doing here, and how did you get right there? And he's just like, hi, and then he went back to his seat, and then I had a weird conversation with a sister about going to a movie theater alone. And for some reason, that's not a thing that people do, which I don't get it. I just would like to go out and do something by myself and not be judged for it. The other side of the problem is I find myself caring a little bit about what other people think about me, even though I tell myself that I don't care at all. I think that at least in everybody there's a small part of someone, if not a great part of someone, that cares about what other people think about them, and that's not a bad thing. You should care somewhat of what other people think about you. But there becomes a point that becomes too much and you're just forming yourself to please other people. But I find myself on the other side of that spectrum and not caring as much, and so I'll just do whatever pleases me instead of being a good person and trying to help others, which is my life struggle. Another thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people in high school like to talk about the most vain things that nobody should even care about and that don't matter even a little bit, and it's like being punched in the face, but more like the brain and like society and words. What I'm trying to say is that I start to feel like crap when people just talk about the most vain things that nobody should care about, and it makes me think that all people are like that, and it makes me feel like I really should just get out of this building. I would rather be at any other place at that time than where I'm at when I'm listening to that garbage. But then people see me feeling that way and me continuing to be silent, and they think that I'm the weird one, and technically I guess I am if your definition of weird is being different than the norm of high schoolers, which most of you guys are, and I'm not trying to like, oh, we're different, we're better. No, we're basically just the same. It's just we care about more important things. I don't want to be an elitist because we are all humans and on the same level. I just wish that more people cared about things that actually mattered. I'm realizing that if there was ever like a murder in our school, I would probably be the #1 suspect because I like being alone and I like silence, and I fit pretty much the most shallow stereotypes of serial killers. Dang it. It probably doesn't help that I make a lot of morbid jokes in class either. Another thing that I've noticed is how powerful silence is. Like I said, I don't really like being in a classroom all day surrounded by a bunch of people, and so I tend to start being silent at some points in the day, and a lot of people think that might be a little bit weird, which I don't really understand that because silence is great. I like being able to think and not have distractions. Sorry. When you don't speak much in general, people tend to listen when you actually start talking, which is something that I find very valuable, and that when I speak and say things that people actually tend to listen most of the time. But there are times that I'm not listened to, or people are just completely ignoring me or interrupting me, but that is normal in society that happens to people. But for some reason when it happens to me, I spend so much effort just forcing that phrase that I just said out of my mouth that I feel rejected inside and I don't want to say anything else. I'm like, I tried to say something, you didn't listen, I am not going to say it again, sorry about that, and then I just move on. And people don't really like it when you do that. But whatever, it doesn't really matter that much, people move on and you move on. I've just spent this whole video just telling you about my social life, so I expected this to be a very short video, but I think it's turning out to be longer than I thought because I guess I'm just talking about my lack of a social life because that would make a longer video, so now this is making more sense. And now I'm just rambling. Sorry for that. Becky, I will see you tomorrow, and next week we will be doing sort of a look back week on the past year that it's been making videos. I can't believe that it's been a year and I haven't really told anybody that I know in person. We'll talk about that sometime else, but we will be looking back and there will be videos made and I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but I'm happy. Yeah, let's do this. Go next week. Why do I make videos? No one cares. This is awkward. Keep doing it. I don't know what that was, but I don't apologize for it.